The British Army once ruled the world's battlefields, from Waterloo to the trenches of World War One, to the windswept islands of the Falklands. But today, critics argue it's underfunded, outdated, and overshadowed. So is the British Army still any good? Let's find out. There's no denying the British Army's reputation for punching above its own weight. This is the army that stood firm at Dunkirk, liberated Europe, and fought tooth and nail through the jungles of Malaya. But here, in 2024, it faces an entirely different battlefield. Tight budgets, new global threats, and the relentless march of technology. Can this once mighty force still hold its own in a world dominated by superpowers? Or is the British Army's time as one of the best finally over? Welcome back to the war. For centuries, the British Army has built its reputation on professionalism, adaptability, and grit. It isn't the biggest army in the world, far from it, with just over 70,000 active personnel, but what it lacks in size, it makes up for in training and expertise. Take the Battle of Murbach in 1972, when 9 SAS soldiers held off a force of over 250 insurgents in Oman. Armed with nothing more than grit, precision, and a 25-pounder artillery gun, this ethos still defines the British Army today. Every soldier undergoes some of the most rigorous training in the world, emphasising adaptability and small unit tactics. British infantry are taught to think on their feet, an approach that gives them an edge in modern, unpredictable conflicts. But is this professionalism alone enough in a world where arms rely more on advanced technology than raw skill? The British Army has always prided itself on innovation, but today it's playing catch-up in some areas. One bright spot is the Challenger 3 tank programme, which aims to replace the battle-tested Challenger 2. The Challenger 2 has been a symbol of British armoured strength for decades, with its unrivaled Chobham armour and reputation for survivability. However, its Achilles heel was exposed in 2023 when the Challenger 2 was lost in Ukraine, the first time this had ever happened. The Challenger 3 promises to be a game changer, with upgraded firepower and advanced targeting systems, but delays in its production have left questions about whether British armoured units can keep pace with the rapid advancements of rivals like Russia and China. Meanwhile, the army has embraced digital warfare with Morpheus communication system designed to link soldiers, vehicles, and command centres in real time. But there are glaring weaknesses. The Warrior infantry fighting vehicles, once a backbone of the army, decades old and overdue for replacement. Without modern IFVs, infantry units risk being outgunned and outmaneuvered on the battlefield. Can cutting-edge tech like drones and cyber warfare compensate for outdated hardware? If you're a British Army recruiter, you've had a tough few years. Recruitment targets have been missed repeatedly, and the Army has struggled to attract young people in an era of endless career options and social media distractions. In 2023, the Army leaned heavily into TikTok and gaming ads to reach Gen Z, showcasing high-tech equipment and action-packed scenarios. Some praised the strategy, but others called it out of touch, arguing that it glossed over the realities of military life. The rebranding of the iconic Be the Best campaign didn't help either, with critics calling the new slogan uninspiring. But is the issue really marketing, or is it the shrinking size of the army itself? With fewer soldiers than at any time since the Napoleonic Wars, does the army risk losing its ability to field large-scale operations? Despite its challenges, the British Army remains active on the global stage. In Estonia, British troops stand on the front line of NATO's enhanced forward presence, deterring potential Russian aggression. In Africa, they are engaged in peacekeeping missions, and in the Middle East, they conduct special operations against terrorist groups. These deployments prove that the British Army can still project power far from home, but they also stretch its limited resources. Some argue that Britain's Global Britain strategy spreads the army too thin, leaving it unable to respond to emerging threats. During the Iraq War, the army operated at full capacity, maintaining a significant presence in the south of the country. But in today's geopolitical climate, could the army sustain such commitment again? Budget cuts have loomed over the British Army for years. While the government is committed to meeting NATO's 2% GDP defence spending target, the reality is that inflation and rising costs have eroded the effectiveness of those funds. One of the biggest concerns is whether the army can balance modernisation with basic readiness. Critics point to the report of equipment shortages, including body armour and boots, as evidence that soldiers are being let down. Yet, the army continues to invest in high-tech solutions like drones, autonomous vehicles, and artificial intelligence. This raises a critical question. Can an army truly modernise if its soldiers don't have the basics they need? When compared to global superpowers like the United States and China, the British Army is undeniably smaller and less equipped. However, its strengths lie in its partnerships. British forces operate seamlessly with NATO allies, enhancing their capabilities in joint operations. In Europe, comparisons often pit the British Army against France and Germany. France boasts a nuclear deterrent and rapid deployment forces, while Germany is focused on rearming after decades of underinvestment. The British Army strikes a balance between readiness and global reach. But is it enough to remain Europe's top military force? So, is the British Army still any good? Despite its challenges, the answer is yes and no. The Army's professionalism, elite units, and adaptability keep it relevant on the modern battlefield. However, it's clear that recruitment struggles, budget constraints, and outdated equipment pose serious risks to its future capabilities. One thing is certain, underestimating the British Army has been a mistake for centuries. Whether it's holding the line at Rorke's Drift or launching daring raids in World War II, this is an army that knows how to fight and win. The British Army may be smaller and facing challenges, but its legacy and resilience cannot be ignored. What do you think? Does it still deserve its reputation as one of the best? Hi soldiers, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave your thoughts in the comments. And don't forget to check back in again soon. That's an order.